very excited. Hello and welcome back. I'm Tara Swiger, and today I'm so excited we are starting the Austen read-along. Now, all this means is that I want to read through all of the Jane Austen books I got for Christmas. Yes, I want to read through all of them, and I've invited you to read along with me. So there is no pressure. You just decide to start reading. When you want to start reading, you decide where. I am going to attempt to read these in publication order, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then I'm going to read a few more books about Jane Austen because I love Pride and Prejudice. I remember the first time I read Pride and Prejudice as a teenager, I was just like swooning over it. I've read a lot of retellings since then. I read Emma a couple years ago. Of course, I love the movie Clueless, which is like a retelling of Emma. And I just thought, why have I not read the rest of her books? And why have I not done any more research about Jane Austen? So I'm going to this month. Maybe it will lead into April, I'm not sure. We're starting this on March 1st, and I'm just gonna read until I'm done reading through it. I could read through all of these in a month, but I also have other books on my to-be-read shelf from the library that I need to get to. So we'll see. I'm going to start with Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I just realized my foster kiddos have given me a Lisa Frank sticker on it. It's clothbound, so it didn't hurt. So I'm going to start with this. This was the first book published by Jane Austen, even though technically people think she started to write this and Pride and Prejudice at the same time. This got published first, then Pride and Prejudice. I'm going to reread it, even though I've read it before, because I want to see how they kind of work together. Northanger Abbey, Mansfield Park. Not read either of these. Emma, which I've read before and I'm going to reread. Persuasion. This is the books I'm reading this month, maybe more. On my Austen journey, I'm also going to read a biography of Austen. This I've heard is amazing. It's Jane Austen Alive by Claire Tomlin. I just got it today from the library. It's supposed to be really great. It also fits the challenge for my Reading Women challenge to read a woman who's historian's book. And it's about a woman, Jane Austen. I think this might fit a Read Harder challenge as well. I have to check and see. But I'm going to be reading this. I've debated if I should read the books first or read this first. I think I'm just going to intersperse it in there. When I need a break from reading one of the books, I'll start this. It's in the Jane Austen section of the library. This, What Matters in Jane Austen. I don't know if it'll be good. We'll see. It's 20 Crucial Puzzles Solved. And we'll see if it has spoilers. I won't read it until after the other ones if it has spoilers. And then this one, Ostentatious, The Evolving World of Jane Austen Fans. There's a really great article I read, I will share below, about how that Jane Austen fans were like the first internet nerds. Like they were Trekkies before Trekkies, and that they organize themselves in a way that's very similar to online fan groups now. So I'll share that article. It's super interesting. That made me want to pick up this. Then along with reading the books, I'm also going to watch some of the film adaptations. I think I'm going to watch each adaptation right after I watch the movie so that I don't have to like get confused about which ones I'm watching. I'm going to read Sense and Sensibility and then watch the adaptation. If you have a favorite, put it in the comments below. I'm going to watch basically what's on Amazon Prime or at my library. My library has a lot of these adaptations on DVD. So I also have access to Hulu. So if there's a good one on Hulu, tell me. I think when I'm done reading this, I'm going to treat myself to the BBC 6 or 8 hour DVDs, which we own. I'm going to watch that again. That is usually what I do when I'm sick. For like a couple days, and I don't know how I'm going to do it around the kids, but I'll figure it out. Northanger Abbey, I'm not sure if there's a good adaptation. Tell me if there is. Mansfield Park, I'm not sure if Mansfield Park has a good adaptation. I know Emma has a great older adaptation, I think with Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, I don't know if it's great. I haven't seen it yet. But I'm very excited about the new one. It comes out, I think, March 5th here in the States. And so I am going to try to get to this as soon as possible and see it while it's still in the theaters. And then Persuasion, and I'm pretty sure that there's one on Amazon. So I'll link up the film adaptation I'm thinking about watching, but you tell me in the comments below, what is your favorite film adaptation? I want to hear it. That's what I'm going to be doing this month to read Jane Austen. I also have a couple books on my bookshelf due at my library that I'll be reading this month. If you want to join me to read Jane Austen, all you need to do is comment below and tell me, and then read Jane Austen. Film yourself reading Jane Austen, film your thoughts about it, or just send it to me in the comments below any of these videos on Instagram, DM. That's always the best way to reach me. Or if you're watching this on IGTV, just comment below. Tell me Are you reading, you could read one of her books you've never read, you could read all of her books, you could just watch the adaptations. Tell me what you're doing and when you hope to do it by, and then we'll chat about it. I'm super excited to be sharing this with you. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to read through them, but I'm also going to vlog reading them, my thoughts on them as I'm reading, and on the adaptations as I watch them. So the next one will probably be around mid-March, and then again at the end of March, and if I'm still not done, I'll do another one like 2 weeks later. So every 2 weeks, I plan to give you an update here on IGTV and on YouTube. A lot of the reading vlogs are too long for IGTV because I can only fit 10 minutes here. So they'll be over on my YouTube channel. Be sure you've subscribed there. It's at tarsweiger.com/YouTube. Now, I do have a couple other things in mind I was going to read this month. First, I've got some parenting books I'm going to read. I'm not going to talk much about those. As y'all know, I'm a foster parent. We got a recent placement of kids that are older than we've had before, just a couple years older, but every year in child development is like something totally new. So I got a book about how to talk so kids will listen, and siblings without rivalry, how to treat siblings so there's less rivalry. I'm very excited about this one. I will tell you more if I like it in my end of the month roundup, but it's What to Read When. It's a suggestion of what kinds to book and what specific books to read at what ages with kids, which will be super helpful because one of the hard things about being a foster parent is you just jump into ages. You don't get to build up to them. You don't know what they did before, what they've learned before, what they've read before, what they're into. And so having a guide of like, if you're just jumping into it, where would you jump in at? I'm looking forward to that. The Wives just came in for me at the library. This just was published. I'm one of the first people to get it, so I know there's a hold list on it, so I'm going to read this super quick. This is a thriller. I have forever had this on my shelf from the library, Obsidio. It's due March 15th, so I'm going to read it in the next week or two. This is a third book in the Illuminae series, which had Illuminae and Gemini. I loved them both. I think I read Illuminae in December and Gemini in January, so I'll read this one. Supposed to read it in February, but I'll read it in the next couple days to return this to the library. It's so good. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm about a quarter of the way through Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, so I'm going to finish this up as well. So probably what I'll be doing is reading like this sometimes, Jane Austen sometimes, till I finish it. Then pick up Obsidio, read Jane Austen, and this kind of back and forth. So that is what I plan to read this month. All of these are what I really want to get to, at least most of them. And then as other books that I've had holds on at the library come in, I'll be reading those as well. If you would like to join me, please do. Leave a comment below and tell me which book you're reading or which movie you're watching. And I am super excited to see how I like them and how they go, and to see what you think of them if you're reading them for the first time or the 100th time. Tell me below. I can't wait to read along with you. And make sure you've subscribed so that you see my next update in 2 weeks, and you'll also get my weekly podcast episodes that come out every Wednesday. Thanks so much, and have a fantastic reading month.